Welcome back to Politics Watch JA. We take a little short break because of technical difficulties, but we are back now and we are going to discuss whether member of parliaments should live in their constituency. But we are going to narrow it down to really should Andrew Holness live in his constituency or should Mark Golding live in his constituency? We are focused on Andrew Holness still because Andrew Holness is the Prime Minister of Jamaica. Before we start the discussion, Mr. Logic, talk to viewers and subscribers, so please and thanks.
Yes, viewers and subscribers, bless upon yourself and continue to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Also, kind to share our Politics Watch JA channel to your friends, your families, your relatives, your community. Anywhere that you can share it. Guys, just continue to share it, and also remember to like up all our videos and use up the comment section.
Alright, so more Andrew Holness, let's go up on the seat, therefore. Go up on the seat, Andrew. Andrew, don't be selfish now. Go up on the seat. Make Mr. Logic sit down beside you, because Mr. Logic in a hot seat tonight, right? So the last video we did, we talked about careers limited and should they be giving out scholarships. And a viewer made a comment which we want Mr. Logic to address, right? Alright, so the viewer said Mr. Logic gives some good reasons or advantages why a MP should not live in his or her constituency. Your vague response is like giving a pass for members of parliament not living in their constituent. A basic logic for them to live in their constituent is to have a living experience common to the people, which can inspire them to lobby for their dire needs of the constituents from a government perspective. And that person get one like. And we never know, Mr. Logics, as a first question what the person asks, right? Give us some reason why a MP should not live in their constituents. Why Andrew Holness not live in a constituents? Tell me now.
Well, I am not of the view that an MP or political representative, need to live within their constituency, right?
Why? Tell me why.
Not a requirement, and I agree not to make it a requirement. Let me tell you why. Once you lend yourself to the issues that is affecting a constituency, you should be able to get those issues that are affecting the people and make the necessary representation on their behalf, right? So it doesn't take a person to live within an area, right, to know the issues within an area. Because if that person have serious interest about a particular area, constituency, right? And we're talking about a constituency. It's not a community that we're talking about, you know. We're talking about a constituency. No, a representative or MP cannot live in the entire constituency. So even if they live within the area that they come from, they represent, right? It's only one community out of scores of communities that they actually live in. So they only live in one, and the majority of the constituency they don't live in. So that is also another reason why I said an MP, right, doesn't necessarily need to live within their constituency once they take the issues that are affecting the people and are able to make necessary representation on their behalf. Another reason
Stop. Hold on, Mr. Logics. You go too fast. We want to break down what you say. Because right now, I want to tell you this, right? You have said that him only live in a one community out of the constituency, right?
Exactly.
Alright, so what me I say is if Andrew Holness live in a one community out of constituency, right? You know say that community would have good roads. Because Andrew Holness not drive from bad road, go for him yard. You know
that I doubt it though.
You know say that community would be safer because police are going to be there 24/7. You know say that let me finish now, Mr. Logics. You know say that community would have the real estate value would have go up in that community, because the $800 million house when built at Beverly Hill, build in the constituency, and it drive up the value, that inspire more people for live in the community there. It inspire it make the constituency more progressive, because people that say I am born, I am, and my build back in community, and them a try to build the constituency. As a matter of fact, if Andrew Wallace live in a film constituency, in the more hands-on with the police, the fireman, the garbage man, certain crime won't commit, because a man that say, boy, Andrew Holness is Prime Minister, and we not violate him around here, so. But when him as when him as the Prime Minister live uptown, a man now go look upon this, well, Andrew Holness I MP, we not violate him. But when Andrew Holness did they might get more respect. You see me I say? So that is why I feel say Andrew Holness will live in a film constituency. That is one of the reasons.
No, and I would even encourage him 1 minute to live in that constituency, right?
Why? Why you wanna encourage Andrew Holness to live in a constituency?
The constituency that Andrew Holness represents is one of the Garrison constituency in the country, right? Garrison, meaning that all the communities with that constituency, Waterhouse, Tower Hill, Beer Farm, all those areas are Garrison communities.
Garrison, so what you tell me? Andrew Holness can't live in a Garrison, so how you represent the Garrison?
That is where I'm going now. There is a problem now. These Garrison communities weren't created by Andrew Holness. They were created by political representatives before him. They are the ones that formed these constituencies. Right?
And by living there, him supposed to can break down the garrisons, inspire youths them will live in a garrison.
That's what I was saying to you earlier. He doesn't need to live there to fix the situation. He can stay right.
But the situation not fixed. The situation not fixing. If the situation not fixed, crime up in them constituency there, and the Prime Minister.
Crime is up. The crime is
high there. Or if you have a Prime Minister, or if you have a Prime Minister for your constituency, and crime did there, poverty did there, and he might tell you say you have economic growth, and you have stable dollar, and you have this and that. If him they live in a constituency, in that Billy constituency from the ground up.
And here's the another problem with that too, right? Because of the high crime. Also, another area in Anjab constituency is Olympic Gardens, right? Just last year, he himself imposed a state of emergency on Olympic Gardens, where the constituency that he represents, because there was a lot of gang violence down that side, right? Here's the situation, right? Even during the state of emergency, with all the police there and soldiers there, right, you still find that crime is still ongoing. And that would basically put the own representative, especially for Garrison communities, their lives at risk. Because no amount of police or soldiers will be able to protect them right throughout their livelihood if they decide to live in those areas.
Now, if Andrew Wallace live in other constituency, the community Olympic Garden, in that Japa police station down there, and a JDF base. You understand what I say?
There's a big police station. He opened up one of the biggest and prettiest police station in the country, right at Olympic Gardens. And after he opened it, the crime just spiral out of control.
No, and listen,
so you don't even make a difference.
The Prime Minister living in a constituency, you'd have make more difference than, because
not to me, because as long as they have the interest, what I also wanted to say, once there's a deep interest, right, from the representative and an understanding of the area. For example, what I would say is that persons who are from the area but no longer lives there. For example, I live in Kingston now, but I'm from Mandeville, and my constituency is Northwest. I know almost all communities in Northwest. That's where I grew up, right? I live there as an adult. In that regard, right, I would say that a person can come from those that come from a constituency and decide to climb the social ladder in society where they have to work within Kingston, they can represent the area that they come from. One of the reasons why I would say Andrew Holness probably is fit to represent a constituency. Remember that Andrew Holness grew up in Spanish Town.
Right? Andrew Holness can't manage over there, sir. He can't manage over there, sir. That's why
he grew up in the gang warfare between. He always talk about it. He talk about.
Yeah, him grew up in there, but him can't manage as a prime minister.
Gang war between one other and Klansman. He said even on television that sometimes he's going to school and he have to turn back when he reached Spanish Town because Spanish Town flare up in violence because of the war between one man and Klansman, and the area that he's from, right, is a gang political area. So he knows what the situation regarding growing up in a crime-prone area and being used to it. Not because we see him as prime minister, no, doesn't mean that he grew up.
So Mr. Logics, we are say, Andrew Holness should represent a Spanish Town constituency then.
No, I said from he grew up in Spanish Town, he can represent any Garrison communities.
No, I think so him to represent a constituency where, as you say, him born and grow up in. So him is aware of this. Him aware of the situation and the poverty, the crime, the bad road, the scamming, the extortion. So him can fix that. You get me, I say?
Yes, I would agree. I am more aligned to that side, that they can come from the area, even though they grew up in the area and born in the area, come from the area, and they leave out because they have to work within Kingston, because everybody know that Kingston is the capital, that's where most of the work is. Then they can represent the area that they come from, because, for example, as I said, I'm from Northwest Manchester, right? I know right now the areas in Northwest Manchester, even though I'm not there now, I know all the areas that need proper roading. I know all the areas that need water. I know all the areas that need youth employment, right? Even though, because I grew up in the area, so I have an understanding. In that regard, what I would agree with you, and this is where I would say to the one of our viewers that wrote the comment on the video, right? What I would agree is that the person needs to grow up in the area, right, and have an understanding of the area because they grew up in it, but they don't necessarily need to live within the area. Once they're from there, they will have an understanding. And the reason for this also is that we have 63 constituencies in Jamaica, right? And guess what? Every constituency in Jamaica produce persons. I'm not talking just one or two persons. I'm talking hundreds, thousands of persons, right, that are capable over the years to be a good representative for the constituency. Because if you just check university, all these colleges, right, you will find students from every single constituency in Jamaica, right? And if you check all these persons that matriculate out of university, right, and business people, entrepreneurs, you will find that they're from every single constituency in Jamaica, right? So every constituency in Jamaica actually produce a representative or a person that is actually capable of representing the area. Here's where I don't agree, which is what the political parties do. I don't agree with both political parties when they decided to parachute new candidates just before an election. They parachute them into the constituency that are not from the area and have them contest the seat. And that is where I actually would disagree. Even the Prime Minister wife is from Spanish Town, but I don't know why she was also parachuted into being the MP for Garden Town. That's where I basically live right now. So things like those, I would say that I am against. No, if they are going to be parachuted into a constituency, it must be similar to the area that they are from, or they themselves must be from that area.
Mr. Logics, I disagree with you, you know. I tell you why. Say councillors have to live in a community for where them represent by law though.
Yeah, by law, councillors have to live in the area, but guess what? Remember that councillors have a more an approach with citizens on the ground. Because the divisions are smaller.
So member of parliament not supposed to have a hands-on approach with their constituents. Ongoing time, election time come. And you are supposed to have that. No, Mr. Logics, well, me not hear you well. Cause it come like you pick up for Andrew. Where you say Andrew is not supposed to have a hands-on approach within constituents.
I said they should have an hands-on approach, but it is impossible for them to do that.
No, but what may I say still?
That is why they have councillors, you know. They have the councillors that represent the divisions. The councillors report to them, and they allotted resources to the councillors to deal with the issues within their constituency.
Mr. Logics, you see, if the argument the way I bring about say, the MP is supposed to because now in Jamaica they might have similar issues, but they are not the same. So not because Andrew Holness they live a Spanish town and him get him face crime and gang violence and whatever. That not mean say film constituency I face the same level of gang violence and crime. You understand what I say? And me feel say as Prime Minister.
You would have a better understanding.
Yeah, but me I say, me feel say
you would have a better understanding than somebody
if you go back. Me feel say if you go back where him come from and build it. You can't build Jamaica, you not build where you come from. That me I say.
But guess what you have to also look to? Guess what I would also disagree with, right? If it's the case where we have persons from constituencies across Jamaica, 63 persons who are qualified, right? And meet the standards that was actually recently set out in Parliament by the government. So the qualifications for parliamentarians, right? If persons from 63 constituency decide to come forward and offer a representative, right? Then now people can say, all right, we can, and they don't get it, we can actually complain about it. But the question is, how many of these persons from all the constituencies in Jamaica actually want to represent the area that they come from?
They don't want to represent. They want a sure seat, an easy seat, and that's what Andrew want. Andrew want an easy seat when him sit down in a Fanima 25 till now. Instead of him trying
but the thing is,
instead of him trying to build back the community.
Holness seat was that same seat still,
no, but
right? It was actually a PMP.
No.
PMP seat. He's the one that turned it, flip it from PMP into JLP seat.
Yes, but may I say, if Andrew Holness was the MP for your Spanish Town constituency, because I see where Babsy Green say nobody never want the seat where she did, you know, because they're afraid of it.
Yes.
And the whole crime and violence and something. But why Andrew Holness want them seat is because him know he can't run them constituency there.
But right now, since he's Prime Minister,
make him look bad.
Since he's Prime Minister, right? It could make him look bad because it was the same situation with Bruce Golding. Bruce Golding, even the former Prime Minister Seaga came out after Bruce Golding resigned that he told Bruce Golding not to take up the seat in West Kingston because he could not manage the seat.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
And
but it's a safe seat. It's a safe seat.
He wanted Babsy Grange to take over the seat in West Kingston because she was the best person in the party to represent that seat because she was strong.
Why she's the best person? Is she from that constituency?
No, that could manage because she managed her era well.
Is she from that constituency?
No, I don't know which constituency actually she's from. I know that she grew up in St. Catherine, but I don't think she's from West Kingston. Well, let me say this. We will have to check it because I've heard before that she grew up there for true. But let's check. We will have to recheck where she's from. But I heard a person said that she actually grew up in West Kingston, but I'm not sure. But Edward Seaga wanted her. According to his reasoning, she understands the situation in West Kingston better than Bruce. All right, let us also say this. Bruce Golding grew up in St. Catherine, for those who don't know. In fact, Bruce Golding was an MP. I think Bruce Golding was an MP for the same. He was MP for a constituency in Spanish Town, and I think it's the same one that Babs is MP right now. Bruce Golding was MP there in the 80s, right? Just for a lot of persons who don't know. And then they remove him, right? After he and Seaga fall out, he left the party, joined NDM, and then he came back and represented West Kingston. So Bruce Golding was already an MP for Spanish Town. That's where Bruce Golding grew up in St. Catherine.
Yeah,
right?
but what may I say? May I talk about Andrew? Right? May I talk about Andrew? We don't want Andrew get off a hook, you know. If Andrew get off a hook in Ghana, big C, you know. You understand me?
Because
Because
he would do well in the constituency right now. Guess what? Guess why? Because he's the prime minister.
the prime minister have a lot of say and resources we can make a constituency change from a crime-ridden, gang violence, extortion. So me feel say that's what Andrew Holness represent and left the constituency when they know. Because it's a safe seat for him. Me want Andrew Holness. Andrew, more you take the challenge from Politics Watch JA and go back where you come from and build that community. Because you have the resources now, can build it. And let me tell you, Mr. Logix. Mr. Logix.
You're saying that right?
Mr. Logix. Mr. Logix. Where you say, Mr. Logix?
You said that you want Andrew Holness to go back to Spanish Town where you come from, right?
Yes, and build that community, that constituency.
You're actually saying that get somebody from West Central St. Andrew, where Andrew is the MP right now.
Yes.
Somebody that grew up in that area to represent the area.
Yes. And
that's what you want.
Yes.
Because so if a case, nobody from that area decided to step up and say that they want to represent the area.
No, remember saying his salary increase at 200%. A man will step up just for the salary.
Well,
you understand what I'm saying? And remember now, Mr. Logix, don't bring the argument to it. Remember say Andrew Holness have a lot of delegates down there and councillors where aspire to be member of parliament.
But guess what? I agree. And guess what? Most councillors always live in the area from there. But here's the problem now. Both political parties, they don't always agree that councillors are qualified. I don't know the reason why, but they tend not to want councillors to be the MP because they always say that councillors are that they are not really qualified for the position. And
that is where we have a problem. The councillors are supposed to graduate to member of parliament, and that is why we have a lack of interest. Because you know, Andrew Holness as a prime minister, him not really have no time for do no MP work. You get me? As a result of that,
here's my proposal, right? Here's my proposal, because guess what? Angela Brownberg, right? She was a councillor for the Normanwood division, the Norman division in East Kingston, right? And the MP was Philip Palwell. That's the area that she grew up in East Kingston. When Portia was stepping down, she decided to resign as councillor for East Kingston and take over the seat that Portia had, right?
Yes.
Which is another Garrison area, similar to East Kingston, another Garrison, right? This is the problem. This is the issue too for some of these. So this is my proposal. The reason why she decided to resign from Norman, right? She realized that she has potential to be a member of parliament, but guess what? And this is also another issue that you have to look into. When you find a person with potential, like few councillors, and that your MP that is the MP for your area, that MP decided that they are not moving out as MP. In other words, they're going to be MP like Mike Henry for the next 40 to 50 years. You as a councillor, right? You know what happens to you as a councillor? Your entire political career stall, if you decide that, hey, I'm staying in that constituency until the MP resign.
No,
my proposal. Here's my proposal.
But Mr. Logix, you also say that Mama P, they also give Angela Brownberg her blessing.
Yeah, Mama P give her a blessing, but here's my proposal, right? Remember that it's not Angela Brownberg alone have that issue, You have many councillors within the country, right, are waiting for their MP to resign so that they can fill the position. But guess what? Those MPs are in the seat for 30, 40, 50 years. One of my proposals for all of this, to make councillors have access to be MP, since the councillors live within the area, is term limits.
Yes, may I agree with that?
With term limits, there'll be less corruption in the country and there'll be better progress. Term limits, no more than 2 to 3 terms for MP, Prime Minister, leaders. So basically, every decade, every 10 years, we're turning over new representative within the country.
And what would I like if you put in a law that a member of parliament must live in their constituency, just like all the councillors. Yeah, you not feel live in a ghetto part of the constituency. Every constituency must have an uptown part. So if Andrew Wallace,
Not every one of them. West
no,
Kingston don't have an uptown.
no, Mr. Logics. If Andrew Wallace don't live a ghetto part and come in constituency, he can't find an uptown part. You understand? But if you live in a
Some
constituency,
constituency have uptown and some have downtown, but not the one that Andrew represent.
no man, Andrew Wallace committee must listen me. He have the
That's
resource.
straight Garrison.
Andrew
You
Wallace
see
have
all the constituency,
Andrew Wallace
all the
have the
constituencies along
resources.
3 miles. You see all the constituencies from Crossroads,
Mr.
downtown
Logics,
along 3 miles.
Mr. Logics, me
There's
never know your
no.
labor right, you know. Me say Andrew Wallace have resources we can make in at least one community in a constituency be a section where you can reside within family and spend $800 million and build road and house and everything. But let me tell us,
All your viewers and listeners know that I'm one of Andrew Holness' biggest critic, right? But guess what? On this issue, I'm going to back Andrew Holness for 100%.
no, me feel say, me tell us still, Mr. Logics. You see, by Andrew Holness not living in his constituency and him as a prime minister, him not go there for do the hands-on work in a community. So therefore, him either gonna leave somebody there which is going to be appears to be a Dan, or somebody gonna step up and be the Dan for the community. And that is why. That is what I mean.
You have capable persons, you know. As long as you have capable persons, if you have 3 capable councillors to represent your interests within the constituency, you don't need to be you don't need to have a hands-on approach. You know?
So why why the councillors them can't become right? MP then? You say capable, so why the party them a bypass the councillor them?
That is why I propose term limits. So term limits are Andrew,
no, we're not.
Terms, 3
no,
terms,
yeah, but we're not
MP.
talking about terms. Cause we still, if we look for the capable councillors them, we can graduate up to MP.
Yes, but they can't graduate up to MP unless the MP resign.
Yeah, so but we still need term limits and we still need for the council them get a chance. Because
and you know that,
no, because what happened, you know, Mr. Logics? Yeah, but me know. But what me I say still, even if a MP resign, the party pushing somebody else who them choose instead of one of the 3 capable councillors them.
Yes,
who live in a constituency.
I agree with you 100%. And guess what? The JLP, the Andrew Holness party, right? That he's the leader of. They actually have been pushing persons within the party that were sons and daughters of retired MPs, or current MPs, or wife and husband situation, right? These are things I disagree, because what happened in this regard is that the wealth, right? The wealth and all the political power only stays within few families within the country. So you don't find persons who work hard, from poor backgrounds, work hard, go to university, get their degree. These persons have limited opportunities of becoming a member of parliament. Why? Because you find that certain persons with certain last name or certain families, they are the only ones that are getting the nod by parties. And that is one of the corruption that we have in the country regarding the party selection.
No, but what may I say still, you see, if Andrew Holness live in a constituency, by him living in a constituency, him can identify at least a dozen aspirants and mentor them, you know. But because
yes, he can.
Because him not living in a constituency, he can't find the next JLP leader or next MP from the constituency. That's why I say him need to live there. And he
can also find him. Let me tell you how you can find him. He has a foundation that he offers scholarship to persons from his area, top students, right? All he has to do is monitor the students, then right through graduation up to university and in their workplace, and then make a selection as to who's the best fit. It's a simple process. He can go along that process.
Yeah, but what me I say still, him need to be accessible by the community where him living at. I'm not supposed to.
I think he's accessible in the. in his ear. And guess what? You mentioned something earlier that I also disagree with, because I've proven it and I've experiences where you said if the MP live in the area, right? Or certain area, the road will fix. And guess what? It's not just where I live now, but basically where I live, the MP for the area, right? Her office, right? The road that leads to her office, which she travels basically every day, that road is always in a bad condition. And guess what? She has to drive on that road to go to her office to do her business.
But the question you have to ask, is that a government MP?
Yeah, it's a government MP.
It's a government MP and the road not fixed.
And in fact, she's the wife of the Prime Minister. Right? And her constituency, the roads in her constituency, right beside her office, go straight down into the town area, right? The road is always in bad condition.
But
and she drives there regularly.
Remember now, you know, Juliet,
her office is there. That is where she works from.
Hold on, Mr. Logics, remember saying, Mr. Juliet only see come on TV and say, anytime you see one section of constituency no fix, at the PMP them live over there, and whatever. Like he must say,
yeah, she did say that.
This section of constituency where deteriorate and have bad roads and crime and violence at PMP them live over. So probably you live over a section where PMP them live over. And that is another reason.
For two, but
what may I say, Mr. Logics?
Where her office is, and I've seen her many times. She's there regular throughout the week, and when she go there, she stay over there basically the whole day doing her business or from her office. The roads are very bad from leading from her office, right?
But what may I say, Mr. Logics?
The former MP Aluna Samba, remember Aluna Samba?
Yes.
Right, who was tourism minister, and she was member of parliament for Southeastern, and before Lisa Hanna took over, she was member of parliament for Southeastern for a long time as well, right through PJ. Prime Minister, right? As Prime Minister Marine, right? And guess what? I see Aluna Samba years ago complaining on social media that the roads are so bad in her area. And guess what? Because Aluna Samba lives within Southeast, and it's the constituency that she represented, she still lives there, right? And yet she was MP there for almost 15 years, and she complaining about the roads are bad within the area where she lives, and sometimes there is no water. Right? So the question I'm asking, I also have to ask is, what did she do for those 15 years?
It's a failure. She's a failure. She's a failure to the people of the constituency.
That's what I'm saying. You can live in the area. You can live in the area, represent the area, and still be a failure.
Yeah, but what may I say still?
And she was trying to blame the Jamaica Labour Party for not fixing the road and getting the communities in Southeastern and water where she lived. And yet she was MP there for almost 15 years and did not do anything about it.
Yeah, but what may I say still? You see, if Andrew Holness live in a community, you know, say, as an MP in our constituency, if say a person is PMP, that person is you can guarantee that person not get no benefit from a JLP member of parliament, you know. You know that?
Yeah, I know. That's how politics works.
So what may I say is, if Andrew Holness live in a constituency, even if a person no support him, you know Andrew Holness I go still assist people who are PMP in a film constituency. So that is why him need to live in there, so that him can split justice. You understand what I say? Because remember saying everybody go support him, you know. A man go have his own political belief, but him as a prime minister now.
I disagree with that, right? Guess why I disagree with that as well? Because remember in 2016 election, right?
You remember what Warmington said? You remember say Warmington said, boy, if a man no support him, he can't get no benefit from him, you know. You understand what I say? And me feel say if Andrew Holness live in a community, in a constituency, him can assist persons not only who are labor rights but also comrades, and show the people them so they can unite and live in a constituency even if they not support him politically. You get what I say, Mr. Logics? Mr. Logics, I not hear you. Where you say, Mr. Logics? Mr. Logics?
Yeah, I disagree with that because the evidence is there that that's not the case. Let me tell you why. Tell you what happened in 2016 election, right? And it came on news when Andrew Holness was trying to reach out to the other side of his constituency because the constituency that Andrew Holness represents is not seen as a safe seat in Jamaica, right? By political analysts. The reason for it is that the man.
It's a logics. It's a logics. We not
You
hear.
hear me?
Yeah, repeat that.
Yeah, the constituency that Andrew represents in Jamaica, in Jamaica, right? The West Central St. Andrew constituency, it is not seen as a safe seat. The reason why it is not seen as a safe seat is because there are not much votes that Andrew normally wins by in that era, right? The reason for that as well, in 2016 election, Andrew Holness wanted to reach out to the other side of his constituency that is a big PMP area. And everybody know that. And that area is called Waterhouse, right?
Yes, yes.
Waterhouse is PMP area, fully PMP. Waterhouse is the most populated community area or community within Andrew Holness constituency. It is fully PMP. It has the most people, right? And it came on TV when he tried to reach out to them during election, right? And he was walking in order to have a peace walk. He walked with his JLP entourage and then he was trying to reach out basically on nomination day towards the Waterhouse section and talk to them. And so the crowd, right, of PMP supporters that were there, hundreds of them, they actually were booing him and running him. They don't want him. And they said he's not supposed to cross over, right? So these people are very political aligned to their party. So no matter what, even if he decide to live there, right, they are not going to want to have anything to do with him.
No, listen, you have to understand or get to run, you know. A man have to go out there go do the work for the done or for the member of parliament. But him know say him know say him want assistance from Andrew Holness. And remember saying that Dan Nago did it when you were voting, you know. It Dan Nago did it when you mark your ex, you know. You understand?
No, but guess what you don't understand? Like
because
they done for the other side.
Because remember, at 25 years, Andrew Holness have the seat they find, you know.
Yeah, but guess what you don't understand?
So him no lose the seat, no, not even though. You say Waterhouse a one nice strong hold them for PMP. Him no lose the seat for my 25-year-old.
Guess what, so? But
and my 50-year-old now. You me I say? What are Mr. Logics? We not hear so well.
Yeah, here's the thing now, right? Waterhouse normally gives over 5,000 to 6,000 votes alone come from one area, right? Andrew Holness normally gets 7,000 votes. So he doesn't win by much votes. Normally win by between 500 to 1,500 votes, right? And he get most of those votes from Tower Hill and other areas and Olympic Gardens. But you have Waterhouse alone, one community turning out 5,000 people for PMP. The Duns in those areas, especially the Dun in Waterhouse, right, which turn out over 5,000 supporters for the PNP. These Duns, they don't need anything from the Member of Parliament. And the reason why, remember that these Duns within the other side party, which is the PNP, they're getting support from the caretaker. Remember that the caretaker is the opposition representative within the constituency. The caretaker gives support, financial support to the Duns that support him for PNP. So both caretaker and MP are actually financing their representative and their Duns.
Alright, so viewers and subscribers, want to go in the comment section and tell you what you think about Andrew Holness living in his constituency. Because me still not agree with Mr. Logics, but we will hear from the viewers and subscribers and see what them think about this. Alright, so we'll see you again in the next video, viewers and subscribers. Thanks for the support.